You are watching the Division III College Football Semifinals on ESPN, where the road to this year's national championship runs through Naperville, Illinois, with North Central College welcoming in John Carroll University. A trip to the famed Stag Bowl is on the line. Now, we started way back when with 240 teams down to the last 4. And the Cardinals, alone unbeaten defending national champs, the Blue Streaks slaying 2 giants to get here. We are so excited to welcome you in for the next 3+ hours. Anthony Lima, my partner Ryan Cavanaugh. We have been pumped all week for this matchup, 2 of the most balanced teams in college football. But is it fair to describe it as a David versus Goliath?
Absolutely. John Carroll's here for the 3rd time in program history. They've never made it to the Stag Bowl. However, the confidence is high. A program-defining win 2 weeks ago against Mount Union. However, Mount Union's known as the machine. North Central is the standard for Division III football. They're looking to get to the Stag Bowl for the 6th consecutive year. Every time the Cardinals take the field, they're the favorite.
Yeah, their dominant run game is why out-rushing opponents 4-1 on the season, unheard of.
It starts with the offensive line. I think they may have the best offensive line I've ever seen in Division III football. And they've got a bevy of backs, 5 different guys that will carry the ball. Sean Allen returns after being out last week. Donovan McNeil had a monster game last week. It keeps the legs fresh, and it wears out a defense.
Meanwhile, the Blue Streaks defense, they've had some season-saving plays here throughout the postseason. They're going to need a lot more of that today.
Well, they've been outstanding. They've only allowed 26 points to their 3 playoff opponents. They don't have the big name guy on defense, but it's 11-1. They're very technically sound. They're always in position, and they rarely miss tackles. They're going to have to bring their A game to slow down the Cardinals' rushing attack.
We are just moments away from kickoff as North Central College won the toss. They want the football. They are going to get the football to start out this semifinal matchup on a beautiful day to still be playing football. Any chance that you are playing football this late in the season, it's always going to be a beautiful day. So here comes the kickoff. Colin Schuler sends that one down to the 2-yard line. And here comes the return on special teams out to the 25-yard line. Sean Allen took the kickoff, and that is where this dominant offensive game will start the football. There was a flag, so we will go down to the field. Our head referee, Stuart Hinman, will clarify things. We expect it to be smooth sailing after this. I can promise you that, between these 2 teams.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, return team, number 23. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down, North Central.
Well, that is obviously not what the Cardinals are looking for to start out. They make so few mistakes, and that's why they are the lone unbeaten team in all of Division III.
And you mentioned making few mistakes. How about this guy, Garrett Wilson? Only 4 interceptions and 39 touchdowns. 3 of those interceptions came against Washington. He's very good protecting the football.
Wilson rolling out left immediately, missed tackle there, and a nice start for that Cardinals offense, as already Jack Rummel with the catch and then the yards afterwards.
A lot of cushion from John Carroll on the edge. It was an easy pass and catch from Wilson to Rummel. And all of a sudden, that penalty is not so impactful from that kick return.
18 yards to get things started. So first down, Thomas Skona in motion. There's the handoff inside. Donovan McNeil churning those legs. Got 5 on the carry.
I mentioned that Sean Allen didn't play last week. McNeil, 25 carries, 144 yards, and 3 touchdowns in his stead. One of, as I mentioned, about 5 running backs I expect to see carry the football for this ground attack of the Cardinals.
Well, they just find ways to wear those defenses out, notably the defensive line. That is one of the big matchups that we will be following throughout the game. Patient run by McNeil, and now it's a foot race to the 40. Can he get a block on the outside? And he's run out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Explosive play for the Cardinals. and a huge 46, make that 36-yard run.
They're working off the right side, and you see John Golden, the right guard, pull and get a great seal block, and McNeil up the sidelines. This is a power running team that has a lot of explosiveness.
So McNeil gets them all the way down, prime field position, just numbers you don't see. 272 yards rushing a game. This time inside, Sean Allen is met with a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, and Allen did a good job of looking for his hole, popping back, but John Carroll, defensive line, playing across, filling the gap. Just when Allen thought he had a little green space to slide through, Carroll's defense shut it down. And you take a look at this offensive line, Anthony. I found myself watching film of them and just focusing on the offensive line play. They're physical, they can get up on you, get in your face, and they can also pull and move.
Wilson out of the gun, looking to the right side. Coming back to make the grab is Rummel, his second catch of the game.
And you see Huffnagel, the cornerback, coming up, tightening it up a little bit. And as we look at Garrett Wilson, keep an eye on a little short and then taken off to eat. North Central bringing in their heavy package, and that includes Isaac Banker and Dawson Trebolo. These tight ends don't catch a lot of passes for North Central, but they're essentially an extension of the offensive line.
Trebolo is in motion, and there is the flag. And the Cardinals will take
False start.
those steps backward.
Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Tyson Kramer with the 5-yard penalty. So we've seen two early flags for this Cardinals team, one on special teams, one on offense.
How about the job this guy, Brad Spencer, has done for the Cardinals? 57-1 in his fourth season. It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's video game numbers. Another rollout. This time, Skopna with the catch, angling back towards the marker on the inside. Did he get enough for the first down?
I think he's going to be a couple yards short. Skopna's their guy. Gallardi, semifinalist. Everything he does is full speed. We're going to see a lot of him. He comes into today with 75 catches. And it looks like the Cardinals are going to keep their offense on the field.
No surprise whatsoever. 12 of 16 on the season on fourth down. So the Cardinals operating a 75% clip. Inside run. Carroll had it stacked, but the extra effort by McNeil gets the first down, and they get to keep the offense on the field.
Excellent effort by Donovan McNeil. I think you said it best, Anthony. It looked like the Blue Streaks had him bottled for a second, but he's so shifty, making a man miss in between the tackles. It's a big piece of McNeil's skill set.
You saw Tyson Kramer leading the way to make sure, you know, doing those little things to preserve a possession. Skopna was in motion. Wilson over the middle. Grant McAtee inside the 5-yard line.
Beautiful job by McAtee, finding the soft spot in this zone. He runs, and it's really just a choice route. You're going to see him squeeze in between the safety and the corner. Right there, settles in. Wilson finds him. Move the chains.
All right, so they will mark it at the 6. Donovan McNeil back there. He takes the handoff. This time, Blue Streaks string it out, and a flag is thrown at the end of the play. We go back down to Stuart Hinman, head referee.
Offense, number 44. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And they're going to get Dawson Trebolo. Sorry, Anthony. The tight end who plays so much very high ceiling, the coaches tell us, but he's primarily a blocking back, and you see him on the edge there, grabbed a little bit too much jersey of Kenneth Grabolsek. Nice play by Devon Bradley to shut it down. Now 1st and goal from the 16 for the Cardinals. Uncharacteristic 3 penalties so far.
Saw Grabolsek, he had that big stop on 4th down at Mount Union a couple of weeks back. Wilson all alone on the draw. He shifts to the side, finally brought down inside the 4 as he kept that run alive.
And Wilson's a sneaky runner. He's not the guy you expect to pull the football down and run. However, this time, design quarterback draw. You get an extra hat in the run game, and nobody's expecting Wilson to do this. He catches the Blue Streaks off guard. Nice gain to get a lot of that penalty yards back. Lamar Thomas with the big stick from the secondary.
Got 11 on the play. So 2nd and goal at the 5. The flip inside. McAtee gets into the end zone for the first touchdown of the semifinal. The Cardinals take the early lead.
Grant McAtee comes in motion. A little bit of a trick play. It's a little shovel pass from Grant Wilson. Great blocking on the left by Brock Nunez and Tyson Kramer. And McAtee has a lane straight into the end zone. Efficient drive for the Cardinals.
Extra point is clean. 7-0 the lead, 11 plays, 87 yards, 6 minutes, 38 seconds. So a couple of penalties. They weather the storm. And now the Blue Streaks will touch the football for the very first time. Oh, we return. The Cardinals, they take the lead on their first possession. Nothing new for them, although had a couple of penalties they were able to overcome. 40 passing touchdowns for Wilson, the most efficient. Talk about the running game. They're also the most efficient passing game in Division III. We talk about the balance of this team. It's what makes them just so tough to deal with.
North Central has led, scored the first touchdown in all but 2 games this season. They're not used to playing from behind.
And now that Blue Streak offense, they'll get a chance for the very first time today. That very experienced signal caller, Nick Semtenfelter, has just been terrific. He's a Bucknell transfer, and he has fit right in here over the last few years. Look at the completion percentage. Every quarterback that plays football at any level would envy that number.
And it actually went down in the playoffs. He finished the season as the first quarterback at any level in college football to throw for complete more than 80% of his passes.
He swings one out of the backfield. Cohen Klimack with a nice gain to start out of 8 yards.
Cohen Klimack, the true freshman, has been a real surprise, and he's coming on strong for the Blue Streaks. Had a great game last week, and as the season has gone on, Klimack has got a lot of run. I'm not surprised to see him starting in the backfield.
Nolan Tanner, the tight end, lining up off tackle. Another throw. And you'll see a lot of that in this passing attack. Quick, getting rid of the football quickly. And Shane Lindstrom, sure-handed as anybody in college football, makes a grab.
Yeah, Shane Lindstrom's the X factor for this game for John Carroll, because so much attention is going to go on number 4, Ty Montgomery, and number 13, Kenneth Rawls. But as you said, Shane Lindstrom, best hands on the team, good route runner. And with all the attention Rawls and Montgomery attract from a defense, there's going to be opportunities for Lindstrom.
Had that monster performance against Mount Union, which was a program-defining victory. And again, keeping it in the air. And this one to the outside, Kenneth Rawls with a little bit of juice after the catch.
We can already see the game plan for John Carroll, and it's dictated by how good North Central is on defense, especially up front. Semptimphelter is going to look to get the ball out as quickly as possible, get the ball in your skill position players' hands, and that will protect you from guys like J.P. Sullivan and Maverick Oli, two of the best defensive tackles in all of Division III on the inside for the Cardinals.
So Blue Streaks, a couple of first downs already and into Cardinal territory. Montgomery in motion. Rolling out right side. There's Montgomery. Nice tackle immediately by Roby. Doesn't allow a lot to get past him in that secondary.
Mari Roby's a standout on defense, and you see him already on Ty Montgomery. As you look at these stats, he's basically set every receiving record in John Carroll history over the past couple seasons. A real interesting story is Ty Montgomery. We'll talk about him as the game goes on, but I expect number 2, Mari Roby, to be locked in on Ty Montgomery for a lot of this contest.
You could tell Cardinals coaching staff, they were very, very impressed with what they had seen on tape from Montgomery, and they were going to be locked into him throughout the game. Meanwhile, Semptimphelter will just toss this ball out of bounds. Obviously didn't like the look of what he saw in that play.
Well, I think they were bringing Rawls across in motion, and that was with the play action going to the right. They wanted to drop it to the left of Rawls, and North Central had it sniffed out all the way. Semptimphelter, who doesn't throw a lot of incompletions, that time chose the right decision, and that's throw it to the first row.
So decisive, and that is one of the things you'll see on film watching this offense and how he orchestrates things.
Yeah, and North Central's coaches talked about it. He is very good at going through his progressions and getting the football out. Doesn't take a lot of sacks because of that quick decision making.
They're 54% on third down this year. The comebackers incomplete through the hands of Lindstrom. And Mari Roby was right there to make sure that this drive would stall out.
Ball was a little high, but that's a ball that Lindstrom typically catches. And that's a big fourth down spot. Semptimphelter right through the hands. Nice hit by Roby. The Cardinals offense, who just had an extremely methodical drive to start the game, is back on the field.
Owen Schukert, the senior, has been vital throughout the postseason. Low snap. He's able to get that one all the way down to the 6-yard line, where Rummel is able to down at 37 yards of field position battle now as they flip the field after a couple of first downs. Well, we said at the start the road to the national championship in Division III would come through Naperville, Illinois. Look at the dominance, the success, 3 national championships, back here in the semifinals once again for the 6th straight year. And look at that record. It almost doesn't seem possible in any sport, at any level, especially as competitive as Division III football is in this country.
As impressive as Brad Spencer's record is, he's a better person. One of the nicest coaches I've ever had the pleasure of speaking with. North Central through and through. His dad worked here at the college. He said he grew up at this college, and it's all he knows. He played here. He was an assistant coach and now the head coach for the Cardinals.
Backed up right now, the Cardinals, a handoff inside, goes nowhere to McNeil. Terrific stop by that Blue Streak defense, and Kenny Grabolsek is right there.
Grabolsek upends McNeil for one of the shortest offensive plays for North Central thus far. And look at how impressive the Blue Streaks have been throughout the season. 3rd in all of Division III, holding teams to less than 50 yards a game on the ground.
That's why we're so excited to see this matchup in particular. Cardinals got the best of them on the opening drive, but now up against it deep in their own territory. Very patient effort this time by McNeil, who gets to the outside, and he's sprinting down the sidelines. Huge gain to the Cardinals. getting out of the shadows of their own goalpost, 22 yards on the run.
Donovan McNeil is an explosive back with a lot of quickness. You're going to see Lamar Thomas, the safety, come up and have a chance at him. And look at the power of McNeil. Runs through the tackle, up the sideline. And the hot streak for number 4 continues.
Yeah, getting to the outside. Dylan Crassie, who had the huge week, the 2 interceptions last week, but that time could not contain. Wilson unloading one deep, and it's caught. Jack Rummel, a walk-in touchdown, 71 yards.
You run the football, you lure the defense up to stop the run, and you hit them over top. And look at the post route by Rummel. Garrett Wilson drops it in the bucket. 40th passing touchdown on the season for Rummel, and the Cardinals are rolling.
They started that drive all the way tucked in near their 5-yard line. Carroll thought they had him stopped and in a tough spot, but that is what is so impressive about this Cardinal offense. Officially 3 plays, 94 yards, and the Blue Streaks a little shell shock early on.
We're going to take a look at how this touchdown works. You see Skokna, the inside receiver. He brings the safety in, and then Jack Rummel just runs right past the John Carroll defense. 71 yards. That's the longest play from scrimmage for North Central all season, and they do it in a big spot here in the semifinal.
I'm thinking the Cardinals faithful giving me a little the okey doke before the game. Said, well, we're not as explosive as some of our national championship teams, and boom, 71 yards.
Well, I like that you fell for it.
I did.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker. Not hard sometimes. On the return, Climac looking for breathing room, and he is brought down at the 20-yard line, gang tackled by the Cardinals' very stout special teams. So now, anxious moments for the Blue Streak faithful watching from just outside of Cleveland, Ohio, wondering how they're going to respond to a 14-0 deficit. They've had some come-from-behind efforts this year.
They sure have. They've faced adversity. Obviously, they were down 7-0 on the first play of scrimmage against Mount Union, and then a big game against DePauw. They had to, in the last 2 minutes, drive 80 yards to win that game. So that's what happens when you play a tough schedule and you make it this far. You've seen a lot of things. You've had to deal with it, but they have never been down in this hole this early.
I had a nice explosive play there to get out to the 30-yard line, as that time Nemo Jenkins was in motion and he took advantage.
Yeah, Jenkins comes in with 769 yards rushing on the season, over 200 receiving. And we're going to see Jenkins, we'll see Quincy Newsome, and we've already seen the freshman Cohen Klimek in the backfield for the Blue Streaks.
Yeah, Jenkins, one of the rare in-conference transfers when they were in the OAC, which they recently departed last season. He came from Wilmington. So after the first down, Sempton-Felter. On the comebacker, Lindstrom. And that play never had a chance. Jamar Daniel right there.
I really like the effort from that guy, Tucker Johnson, playing on the edge. Daniel ties him up, and just when it looked like Lindstrom may get free, Tucker Johnson with an incredible effort going out and putting a hit and bringing Lindstrom to the ground.
So they go backwards 2 yards. Jenkins lined up next to Sempton-Felter on 2nd and 12. He looks to throw right side, and nice adjustment by Tyron Montgomery. How did he make the grab?
Great body adjustment and awareness by Montgomery. We talked about him earlier. This young man who I believe is going to have a shot to play in the NFL, is Montgomery. Never played a snap of high school football. Walked on to LSU as a basketball player, and during COVID, his older brother, or his brother rather, was a quarterback, and he was catching balls in the back for him and said, you know what, maybe I can do this football thing. And here he is, literally shattering the majority of John Carroll receiving records.
Nolan Tanner in motion, quick throw to Montgomery. And he is dropped, got a little push at the end from his teammate. Roby there again, a gain of just 1. And there is a pause in the action. One of the Blue Streaks has the trainers out, tending to him, but you talked about Montgomery. That story is one of the fun ones you'll see at any level of college football. A road well-traveled all the way here to the semifinals of the Division III.
Yeah, and the best part, so there's been 20 NFL teams as recent as Sunday that have come to see him and called Coach Behrman. But what's best about Ty Montgomery is that, as Coach Behrman says, he's one of the hardest workers on the team. He loves hard coaching, and he loves working at his craft. He takes it so seriously. And it's rare these days to see Division III players transcend up to the NFL and get a shot there because of the transfer portal. Montgomery's a guy who made his living here at John Carroll, has stuck it out, and really I think he has a real chance to be playing on Sundays.
The Blue Streaks, Isaiah Council was the injured player, did walk off under his own power. And again, the throw a little behind Cohen Klimack, but he also adjusts to make the grab.
Yeah, and he found a nice job in between the linebackers. There's Matt Janiak, number 5 for North Central, who is an absolute tackling machine. But they get the ball to Cohen Klimack. Klimack was a standout wrestler in high school. And because of that background, he's got incredible balance. He's very difficult to bring down. And as you saw in that catch, Anthony, body awareness.
3rd down and 1, and 3 receivers split out to the left. The screen, and it's enough forward for Tyron Montgomery. Or is it? It's incomplete. So they went to the safe play. A lot of pointing going on.
It's like Montgomery just lost his footing. An interesting call here. Sort of in no man's land. The last time John Carroll was in this position, they elected a punt. But down 14, I think the decision changes.
Well, they have some time to think about it because the final seconds ticking here in the first quarter. That scoreboard dominated by North Central. The Blue Streaks have had their opportunities. They've been able to move the chains, but the Cardinals' offense has been in command. John Carroll could be a defining play early on when the second quarter resumes. Second quarter action, pretty pivotal play early in this game. 4th down and 2. They did have an expedited review from the booth, so they wanted to get the down and distance correct. The Blue Streaks need this desperately, and they will throw. Right in the rush, unloading that ball, incomplete. And big number 92, J.P. Sullivan, ending that drive.
We've been waiting all game to mention this young man's name. J.P. Sullivan is the defensive player of the year in all of Division III. And look at him, he's not going to be able to get home, so he gets up, knocks the football down. And number 92 is one of the best defensive linemen I've seen. An absolute monster. In fact, we talked to defensive coordinator Shane Durking. I said, how strong is J.P. Sullivan? He says, we do not let him max out. I said, well, if he wants to rep, how much does he lift? And they said, whatever he wants. He's a real handful on the defensive line.
On 1st down, Stutter stepping his way forward. Donovan McNeil. The 2nd and 3rd effort for McNeil today has been outstanding.
Huffnagel came up from the corner position, had McNeil. McNeil runs through it. J.P. Germano comes in, has McNeil. McNeil runs through it. He's a powerful back. The legs are always moving, and he's extremely difficult to bring to the turf. He just keeps getting better.
So they give him 8 on first down. High snap. Wilson stepping up. Over the middle is caught. And Jalen Johnson is there. 15-yard gain. Cardinal offense is on the move again.
Garrett Wilson looks great at passing the football. He wants to throw it deep to the right. It's covered, so he drops to the second option in his progression over the middle to Johnson in breaking route. And there's not a whole lot offensively that's not working for the Cardinals right now. How about those numbers? 7 for 7, $132, and 2 touchdowns already for Garrett Wilson.
They blitz. High throw is corralled. Boy, going into the skies, Thomas Skopna is able to retrieve it.
And look at Garrett Wilson telling Skopna, my bad, didn't want to get you killed out there. The ball sailed on me, but Skopna is the type of receiver that makes a quarterback look good because of his ability to go up to the second level and make difficult catches in traffic like we just saw.
CAP D3 first team All-American. They just come at you in waves on this football team. And this time, the handoff, but taken down immediately, close to the line of scrimmage. And the Blue Streaks get the stop. That's Devon Badley.
It's played by Badley to work off the blocker. You see him at the bottom of your screen. He's got Trabolo on him, and he's able to shut him and bring down Sean Allen.
So 3rd and 8. This Cardinal offense has been able to overcome some penalties and some tough spots when they were backed up at their own 5. Can they pick it up? Wilson, right side, it's caught. Jack Rummel, and he's loose. They can't bring him down. Surging into the end zone, 33 yards for the score.
Pass complete to Jack Rummel.
Get that on camera! Get that on camera, boys! Get that on...
Jack Rummel catches a simple out route, breaks the tackle, and weaves his way through the Blue Streaks defense and into the end zone. Have a day, Jack Rummel.
This offense, the epitome of unstoppable all season long. And they have just been able to continue things here today in the semis. Every time the Blue Streaks seem like they might have a chance to get their defense off the field, the Cardinals just continue with the impressive play. Unbelievable effort in the passing game. Just when you think you have them down, they score another touchdown, 21-zip. Well, we certainly told you at the start of this one what kind of an incredible season it's been for the defending champs, but until you see it in person, you then understand exactly what John Carroll is up against today. First in offense, first in defense, and the way they marry both sides, now play with a 21-0 lead, this is where they really pour it on.
You know, complementary football is a term that I think is overused a lot because everybody wants to say our offense helps our defense, etc. But right now, with a defense that allows less than 10 points a game, to have a 21-point lead, it plays in their favor because John Carroll's going to have to perhaps get outside of their comfort zone to make something happen offensively. But the Cardinals' defense is going to keep coming, I promise you that.
Completed.
Fair catch this time by Climac and Carroll. Looking at a pretty important possession here. We do have another flag on special teams. Had one earlier in the game with an illegal block on a Cardinal return. They will sort things out. We'll get a chance to hear from our head referee once again, Stuart Hinman. breaking that down.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team, number 21. Half the distance to the goal from the 25-yard line. It'll be first down for John Carroll.
And it got that much tougher with the penalty.
I believe it's Charles Rice at the top right. Yeah, that's a tough one.
And so they will backtrack, officially mark this at their own 12.
John Carroll with 12 passes, only 1 rush thus far.
The pitch. And some room to run that time on the outside. Quincy Newsome with a solid gainer, making 8 yards.
Quick pitch to the boundary, the short side of the field. And you know, when I mentioned that, so that's their second rush for John Carroll, 12 passes. A big reason is this front four from North Central, led by J.P. Sullivan, the player of the year, Maverick Oli, and you got Eli Rennick and Bobby Medina on the outside. This front four sets the tone for North Central defensively.
They'll send Montgomery in motion. It'll be a keeper. And huge hit that time, Ethan Grohr.
Linebacker coming up to make a play. And they direct snapped it to Cohen Klimak, the running back. You're going to see him in the backfield. He fakes it to Sentenfelter. And this is usually a spot that we see backup quarterback Keller Moten.
At the first down.
Keller Moten, the backup quarterback who will get into the game quite often on 3rd and short, especially in the red zone. However, he was sick all week. Actually came
Ruling on the field of a first down is now under further review.
And Keller Moten, the backup quarterback who would usually be taking that snap, sick all week, came to Naperville with his parents on the sideline in uniform. And because of that, they're using Cohen Klimak as the gadget quarterback, so to speak, the short down guy.
All right, so officially it went down as a first down. They're going to take a look at it to see if that spot needs to be amended, which would be the last thing the Blue Streaks need at this point, because they'll take a first down any which way they can get it, even if it was a massive hit. So again, ruled on the field that he got the line of gain.
What a hit by Grohr. And you see the pulling guys, they just run right past number 4. Nobody comes and addresses the outside linebacker who's all alone. Ben Deemer was pulling around, and nobody accounted for Ethan Grohr. Big time hit on Klimak.
I mean, that hit, you feel like that's a Grohr. That's a way you'd aptly describe it. So we will go down to the field and get the call.
After further review, the runner was stopped at the 22-yard line. It will be third down from that spot.
So more to be done here for John Carroll, and the last series they were stopped on both 3rd and 4th down, and now they need to find something in the playbook to manage this situation, because they cannot afford to put their defense back on the football field. So spotted at the 22. Quick throw, and this time getting past the defenders, picking up the first down, Kenneth Rawls.
JCU tried to get this going earlier and it was covered. This time they're able to get it in their big tight end's hand, the transfer from North Alabama. And he takes up the field, coming across in motion. Nice block by Lindstrom on the outside, working on Jamar Daniel. But right now it seems like everything for John Carroll is hard offensively.
At the 30.
Flag will wave
There is
this
a
play
flag
off.
on the field.
Full start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, the sophomore Nolan Tanner, the culprit there. So they'll walk 5 yards back. And it kind of feels like that's how it's gone for the offense so far in the early going today for the Blue Streaks.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of momentum being built. First down, and then whether it's a penalty or an incompletion or a loss of yards, they've been working behind the chains quite a bit.
Newsome in motion, swinging it out of the backfield to Climac. Had a steam, taking on hits and staying on his feet. 11 yards for Climac.
Nice tackle by Janiak, leading tackler for the Cardinals defense. But the swing route to get Climac out in the open space, essentially an outside run. And look at the job he does. Nice block by Lindstrom again on the outside. Janiak is a tackling machine.
How important is it for the Blue Streaks to keep their identity, not panic down 21-0?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, scoring is really the #1 objective here because this game could get away from them fast.
Not much there available for Newsome.
And that play right there, Anthony, is a good indicator as to why they haven't been running the ball, particularly in between the tackles. Because you've got J.P. Sullivan and the rest of this crew inside. It's always tough sledding against this North Central defense. But what they've been able to do is make John Carroll one-dimensional. And when I say one-dimensional, it's not just passing, it's short passing. They haven't driven the ball downfield, and I think that's because of the concern over the pass rush of this defensive front.
3rd and 4. Cardinals showing many bodies at the line of scrimmage, and they are coming. Septenfelter unloads short of the sticks. And felt like 11 guys there to make the tackle. Kyler Green was one of them.
Pressure up front by Eli.
And the punting unit coming back out onto the field for the Blue Streaks.
The Cardinals brought a blitz, and they were in man coverage, so while it wasn't the worst play designed by John Carroll against man, the defender was on Rawls the whole way. As soon as he caught it, he was hit and brought down.
Rummel stationed back at the 21. Will fair catch. And that's where they'll start their next possession of the football. So the Cardinals get yet another stop. What does the offense have next? The North Central football family suffered a loss December 9th as former head coach and Hall of Famer Jeff Thorne passed away after a courageous battle with stomach cancer. Thorne became head coach at North Central in 2015, succeeding his father John. In 6 seasons as head coach, Thorne guided the Cardinals to a 65-10 record in the program's first national championship in 2019. They had the services earlier in the week, and just an emotional roller coaster for this program to get to the semis, but also the really tough news of someone very important to this program.
Yeah, Brad Spencer talked to us this week about it. As I mentioned, Spencer has been a North Central guy through and through, and a very close relationship, not only with Jeff Thorne, but his father, John, who he calls the godfather of Cardinal football. And he said anytime he gets an opportunity to bring up Jeff and John Thorne, he does it because the history of North Central football is so important, and it was built on John and his son Jeff. And personally, I had a chance to talk to Jeff when he was the offensive coordinator for Western Michigan. He went there with Tim Lester for a year, and he was a real
offense. Number 63, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And Jeff Thorne was a real football guy through and through. He loved North Central, and a real cool piece of this is one thing Jeff would say is keep swinging. And last week against Bethel, when North Central was playing them, there was a little confusion at the end of the half. They thought they were out. They stopped them. They had to go back, and the defense had to go back on the field at the end of the quarter on their own goal line. And Coach Spencer said, our defensive players were saying keep swinging. And that was the mantra of Jeff Thorne, and the history of the program carries on through these players today through the words of Jeff Thorne.
Well, this time the second effort doesn't get past Mason Russ, who was first in on the hit, as the Blue Streaks are looking for anything right now to get excited about.
There have not been very many negative or no yard plays for the Cardinal offense. That time Mason Russ, who is the center of that defense, one of the players that North Central identified when we talked to their offensive coordinator, Eric Studeman, he said, 44, real good linebacker for John Carroll. That's Mason Russ. And this is the first play where he's been able to make an impact. But guess what? The Cardinals are going to keep coming at you.
Wilson, blitz is picked up, and that time incomplete and nearly picked off. That was the turnover the Blue Streaks were waiting for. They got 7 last week, almost had one there.
Nice coverage on the play. You got Chris Golson and Lamar Thomas, and you're going to see Thomas dive for the football, had it in his hands, unable to corral it. And more importantly, first incompletion for quarterback Garrett Wilson. He started this game 9 for 9. I threw more incompletions getting off the bus than Garrett Wilson does.
We tightened things up, though. A little sloppy pregame. 3rd and 15, so Carroll cannot afford.
I did have a couple errant passes to some of the Cardinals on the field before. It wasn't my best work.
I watched that. I was impressed. And this time, the Blue Streaks defense, they bottle things up. And they're able to get the stop. How about Ben Day coming in to make the play?
And here's something we haven't had the chance to say yet, is that Chip Dose is going to come out for North Central to punt the football.
They've only had 30 punts all season long. And they haven't had a lot of work, with this unit.
So you're saying if they didn't have 11 guys out there, you wouldn't blame them? Nobody really knows who's on the punt team because it never goes out?
Lindstrom back at the 45. That ball booted. Lindstrom going backwards, and signals for the fair catch. Backpedaling to the 40-yard line. The Blue Streaks will try to get on the scoreboard next here on E. So one thing about John Carroll football that has been clear, the amount of NFL minds and talent that have walked through the school there in University Heights, Ohio. Look at the names associated with this program.
Over 40 alumni from John Carroll are on 19 different NFL teams. One of the deepest representations of any college program. Look at this.
And Septenfelter's pass is knocked away after the big hit. Tyron Montgomery skied for it, but Jamar Daniels said, absolutely not on my watch.
Daniels playing safety. He's got that half of the field, and this ball's a little underthrown, or maybe Montgomery jumps a little too high, but he has to reach down, and you see Daniel with the big collision on Montgomery. That's a tough catch to make, and Daniel was the reason.
Well, we talked about all the NFL talent that have walked through those hallways and on that campus, and we may be looking at another one with Tyron Montgomery. At that time, could not make the grab.
Cohen, Climax, the
2 yards from Climax there on second down.
Yeah, you see big number 92, J.P. Sullivan, getting up off that pile. I was here yesterday for North Central's walkthrough. First of all, what a welcoming campus committee. And J.P. Sullivan was going through the walkthrough with a white cowboy hat on. And I said to the sports information director I was sitting with, I said, who's going to tell him to take that off? And the answer is nobody, because nobody's messing with J.P. Sullivan.
The Cardinals thought they saw some movement. Instead, Montgomery in motion.
There's movement right there.
And that play stopped. The Cardinals were bringing extra players from the secondary on the pass rush, and a little discombobulated there from the Blue Streak offense.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, they're going to get the center, Michael O'Rourke. This is a homecoming game for him. There he is, a true freshman. Along with Jack McKinnon, the right guard, they start 2 true freshmen. And look at the helmet. That's what I love about Michael O'Rourke. Look at all the paint chipped off. If I'm a defensive player, I don't want to go against that guy because you know he's going to hit you. He has virtually no paint on the front of his helmet. And I said it's a homecoming. He's from Naperville, Illinois. And here he has a chance to start in front of his family and friends on the road.
Well, now they need 13. They pick up the blitz. The throw over the middle, it is caught. Huge third down strike and a first down. Nico McBride. Make that Tyron Montgomery there with the grab.
Nice job by Semifinal. You're going to see he throws this ball just as Montgomery's coming out of the break because it's a tight window for him to fit it in between the safety and the corner. That time, you know, North Central got Carroll to jump off sides by showing pressure, and that time they dropped everybody, but Semifinal was able to find Montgomery in a spot in the secondary.
Most accurate throw so far today. That play never had a chance. Who else but Mari Roby with the stop?
Tackled by
Roby has been getting off blocks and making plays routinely throughout this game. Just a great job of identifying what the Streaks wanted to do. And look at Roby get underneath the blocker right there and able to bring him down. That was Evan Nelson trying to contain Mari Roby, but he has been, frankly, uncontainable on the outside. And that's what you want out of your cover corners. Come up and run support. Second and long.
They need 15. And they'll throw to the near hash. Nice pass and catch to Shane Lindstrom. Right there on the sidelines, pick up at 7. So it makes this next one a little more manageable.
And now what's interesting, Anthony, they have the ball at the 47, does John Carroll, and you have to wonder, for Travis James, the offensive coordinator, Jeff Behrman, is this 4-down territory? And that may decide what they elect to do on 3rd and 8. There's
Montgomery at the top of the screen. Typically in these situations, it's his chance. Rushed out of the pocket. Ball fluttering out of bounds and incomplete. The pressure getting to Carroll on that 3rd down. Braden Garrigan was all over.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside the pocket and the ball got beyond the line of scrimmage. It is 4th down.
And you see Garrigan coming off the edge. He's playing safety, but they drop linebackers. They bring their safety up. He runs through a couple blue streaks. And the punt team's on the field. Great job by Braden Garrigan in pass rush.
Jack Brummel back inside his 5. They just get that punt away. Big hang time, and they had a chance to down it near the goal line, but it takes the Cardinal bounce, and the Blue Streaks unable to pin that offense back. 46 yards on the punt.
You know, we talked about the lineage of the John Carroll players in the NFL. And look at these guys. I don't know. These guys look way too young for me to know it, but McDaniel's up on the left. There's head coach Jeff Behrman, Nick Caserio, who's the general manager of the Texans. There's a guy up on the right. But I jokingly said, Josh, Nick, and I all played together. And I joked with Josh, because they both have 6 Super Bowl rings each. I said, combined, we have 12 Super Bowl rings. And we don't have to worry about who has what.
That deep ball just over the outstretched arms of Thomas Skokna. They were going for it all on 1st down.
Skokna is a big play receiver for them, and he does everything 100 miles per hour. He's like a road runner out on the field. 23 receiving touchdowns on the season for Thomas Skokna. One of 10 children also.
Oh, that play upended immediately, as it was a great job by Kenny Grobelsek to make the stop. And so now Blue Streaks defense is starting to get their bearings here late in this second quarter. And that'll bring us to our 2-minute timeout as the Blue Streaks, after the break, will want to make sure to give their offense an opportunity to put some points on the board. Don't go anywhere. D3 Semi on ES. That game's in Canton, right? The Division III playoffs continue with the championship game January 4th on ESPN at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. We're in the semis here. The Blue Streaks trying to get a stop. The Cardinals just 1 for 3 on third down, but each attempt's been over 7 yards. Is another delayed draw, and he's tripped up. Defensive play, Mason Russ ends the drive.
Mason Russ playing in the middle of the defense for the Blue Streaks, had his eye on Garrett Wilson all the way. They tried the dedicated quarterback draw for the second time. First time it came with great success.
Carroll calls his first time out of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
This time Mason Russ beats John Golden, who's trying to climb to the second level.
To 1 minute and 42 seconds. 1:42 on the game clock.
John Golden trying to climb to the second level. Mason Russ beats him to the spot and is able to bring down Wilson. And I mentioned Wilson, they don't call his number a lot in the run game, but he's got some sneaky ability to run the football, especially in third downs when you're not expecting him to run.
So there was a timeout, stopping things at 1:42 to go. So Blue Streaks still have 2 more timeouts as they are in desperate need of a scoring drive to end the half if they're going to have any realistic shot at hanging in this football game, because it has been all Cardinals, but their offense has been stopped a few times here in the second quarter. Lindstrom backpedaling, and a coverage is there.
Lindstrom on the return.
40 yards on the punt, 3 on the return.
Really nice tackle by Gabe Georgie in special teams. As soon as Lindstrom caught it, Georgie was all over him. And you mentioned John Carroll needing to score here and how important it would be. Let's not forget they also get the kick to start the second half. So cutting the deficit to 14 would be extra important, considering they'd have the ball again coming out in the second half.
Cardinals only bring 3, which was perfect alignment against the screen. Carroll was hoping that would be a big one, but a bigger one, and J.P. Sullivan ends any of that.
Yeah, they only brought 3, but they kept number 92 back. And as Lindstrom comes across, he ran into a brick wall with a plaque on it that says, "My name's J.P. Sullivan." This guy is an absolute monster on the football field. He's playing right there in the middle of the defense.
Hanging in the pocket. Nice grab over the middle. Nico McBride. A 10-yard dart. Braden Garrigan on the defense.
And it looks like John Carroll is going to take a timeout as the clock continued to roll.
John Carroll calls his second timeout of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
So Semtenfelter hanging in that pocket. All sorts of noise around him.
He does a nice job. Look at him. He's just buying some time.
47 seconds. 47 on the game clock. And it will start on the snap. Thank you.
Buying some time. Danny Nuccio bringing the blitz, and Semtenfelder able to get it out right away.
There's the OC, Travis James. He was particularly amped for this one in pregame. He started his football playing career here in Naperville, playing for North Central College.
Yeah, how about that tie-in? Knows Brad Spencer, the head coach, very well, and what a job Travis James has done. Brilliant offensive mind, came with Coach Bierman from Union, and just does a really good job, offensive line coach as well for the Blue Streaks.
3rd and 1. And a bit of an opening off the right side for a Blue Streak first down. Now they try to regroup. Nemo Jenkins got enough to move the chains, and then the ball is down. 40 seconds on the clock.
Down to the ball to stop the clock.
So an opportunity here, which, as you illustrated, getting the ball to start the second half.
The incomplete pass brings up 2nd down.
Well, now it's 2nd and 10 after the spike. Septenfelter somehow gets through and throws it on the run. One-handed grab, Tyron Montgomery. 22 yards.
Look at J.P. Sullivan putting the pressure on Septenfelter, dangerously close to going across the line of scrimmage. And look at Montgomery throwing the stop sign up, bringing in the football and getting out of bounds to stop the clock. You know, the North Central coaches were talking about how impressed they were with the athleticism of Ty Montgomery, knowing he was one of the guys they'd have to shut down, but he's a slowdown guy. You don't shut down Ty Montgomery.
32 seconds. Montgomery in motion. But this time, intercepted after the pressure and off to the races. Eli Rennick after the big hit. Big time, pick 6. Disastrous situation for the Blue Streaks.
Eli Rennick, 60 yards to the end zone. Touchdown.
This play starts with J.P. Sullivan and the pressure from the defensive tackle. He gets on Septenfelter. Nick Septenfelter tries to throw the ball away, and he hits Eli Rennick right in the number 7, and off to the races goes defensive end. But look at number 92. Look at the pressure, and he throws it. Ill-advised decision by Septenfelter, and look at Rennick. He's off into the end zone, and those guys behind that white fence right there are all the Cardinals not dressed for this game. So Eli Rennick took the football and celebrated with his teammates. Due to the playoffs, you only dress a certain number, and the rest of them are right there in the end zone. And what a welcoming committee for Eli Rennick as we look at the defensive touchdowns this season for the Cardinals.
Well, unbelievable turn of events. Carroll looked like they had a shot to put some points up, finally get a little momentum going into the tunnel, and instead, worst case scenario unfolds. Sullivan, we talked about his game-wrecking capabilities, which he's done all year, and he served that one up for his teammate to go 60 yards on the house call.
Eli Rennick, 2nd interception of the season, and the last one was against Augustana, and he took that one back 18 yards for the touchdown. So if Rennick gets an interception, it's points on the board. The guys just go.
Unbelievable, the athleticism you saw there, and just a tough mistake. You could tell too, Septenfelter on the ground didn't even want to look.
Yeah, that's you know, and I understand what Septenfelter was doing. You know, he's trying to make something happen, get rid of the football. The problem is that Sullivan got on him so fast, the reaction time didn't allow him to do much other than throw it away as soon as he could, and Rennick was right there for the easy interception.
All right, fair catch. 19 seconds still to go. And how do you recover from this?
Well, you go into the locker room and you make some adjustments, and you have to come out, and if you're John Carroll, you just have to have a short memory. However, you're still coming out to play North Central in the second half. This team is fantastic in all 3 phases of the game. Not a whole lot of weaknesses, and Carroll's going to take a knee and get started on those adjustments.
So that is our first half. Total domination in every phase as the Blue Streaks had some chances, but North Central, as advertised, it's the Cardinals' dominance we've seen all season on both sides of the ball. So don't go anywhere. Our halftime show will have all the highlights and analysis, and also a look at what unfolded in a semifinal thriller on the other side of the bracket. But here, 28-zip, North Central cruising. It's halftime here in Naperville, Illinois. North Central, 28-0 as the Blue Streaks in some trouble here. Let's look at how it unfolded here in the first half. As we talked about explosive plays, like would North Central be able to show those, demonstrate those against this defense? With a second effort was a difference maker.
Yeah, Donovan McNeil was very tough to bring down, and here's Jack Rummel breaking tackles, weaving and navigating his way into the end zone. It really was the yards after contact that was a big story for North Central.
Well, and then the Cardinal defense, they have just not given a lot of opportunities at all for the Blue Streaks to get going.
I feel suffocated watching this game and the way North Central plays. Wherever John Carroll tries to go, they're outflanked. People are over him. There's J.P. Sullivan, and Eli Rennick takes it into the end zone, and that was a bit of an exclamation point on a first half that was largely dominated by North Central.
Total disastrous situation for John Carroll right before the half. They do get the football when we return, and second half action in the D3 semis is next here at North. Welcome back to D3 semifinals. It's been all North Central. We are moments away from the second half getting underway. Anthony Lima alongside Ryan Kavanaugh, as we saw some fireworks right before the end of the first half, and you wonder how disheartening that was for that JCU locker room. The road teams have struggled here in general with the numbers have just been absurd with their continued streak of 45 straight home victories, and they look like they're on their way to number 46.
Yeah, they know how to protect their home turf. It's a difficult place to come in and beat this team, but frankly, I don't care where North Central's playing. It's a big task to beat them anywhere. They've just solidified that when they play at home.
And so another fair catch. So statistically in this one, John Carroll was able to force a couple 3-and-outs. Actually, both teams have the same amount of first downs in this game, 8 apiece, but the story was the big plays, and the big plays have all been on the North Central side.
Yeah, this North Central is explosive. You know, they have an opportunity to score from anywhere on the field, and as you pointed out, the Eli Rennick interception, pick 6 was a big play. And both these quarterbacks are pretty much doing what they do, very efficient.
Blue Streaks with a nice handoff on first down. Cohen Climack able to get some breathing room finally in the run game.
By Danny Nuccio and Matthew Chaniak.
The time that Blue Streaks brought a couple linemen out to try to outflank the Cardinals on the left side of their defense. And a 5-yard gain for John Carroll on the ground is more than what they have been getting. They haven't been able to run the football, but frankly, they haven't really
at the 30.
Tried to really dedicate it to the run, and now down 28. They're almost in a position where if they start passing, keep the ball in the air.
Quick throw this time. Montgomery trying to break some tackles, but the Cardinals are there. It's a pickup of just one on the play.
J.P. Sullivan playing from inside. Down the line, take a look at Montgomery as he catches it and tries to come inside. Look at number 92. Look at the flow, and there's the big hit. Beautiful job by J.P. Had some help from Ethan Gork, the linebacker, who was the first one there. But this guy right here is an absolute monster on the defensive line. Coach Brad Spencer said nobody has been able to block him this year.
3rd and 4. Montgomery to the far side in motion. That ball directed towards him, and It is short of the chain. Some sure tackling. Braden Garrigan was right there in cover.
Every time John Carroll tries to get somebody open, and like that time is a perfect example. Montgomery's open and the window closes so quickly. Garrigan, as you pointed out, sprinting, and as soon as Montgomery caught it, he was all over him.
So the Blue Streaks will punt. It's been a busy afternoon for Owen Schukert. Has had 4 punts so far. This time it is drifting and taking a Blue Streak bounce all the way down to the 20-yard line. So it'll go down as a 47-yard punt and no return. That's a Cardinal offense. We'll get a chance to start, but we do have to address the flag on the field and get a chance to hear from the head referee today, Stuart Hinman. Cardinals had 2 special teams penalties there in the first half.
During the kick, personal foul, illegal blindside block, receiving team number 17. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So that's the other thing today. The Cardinals, any time that they've been stymied or any time that there's been a penalty, they have been able to make up for it pretty quickly.
Garrett Wilson has been outstanding. You take a look at the first half. 2 punts, which were on their last drives, but a very efficient game from the Oklahoma State transfer, Garrett Wilson. Of course, he took over for Luke Lennon, who was a 2-time Gallardi Award winner. Lennon had an outstanding impact on this football program. And Garrett Wilson, who beat out Demir Ashiru in a competition. Ashiru transferred from Ferris State. Wilson comes in from Oklahoma State, but it became pretty apparent right away that Garrett Wilson was the guy, and he has continued throughout the season, not only to reestablish himself as the guy, but can get better week after week after week.
Second down, quick throw, and a missed tackle. Jack Rummel down the sidelines, making the Blue Streaks pay for every mistake, 22 yards.
Offensive coordinator Eric Studeman said that Jack Rummel is a pure wide receiver. He's twitchy, and you could see today he has done a great job of making defenders miss. Rummel's brother also played here and helps coach the wide receivers, so big brother on the sideline has to be happy with the day his younger brother Jack's having, over almost 150 yards through the air.
So jet action, Donovan McNeil that time. Nine yards on the play. So now the Cardinal offense just needs a yard. This is what they do. Once they get a lead, they're able to truly milk the clock. But this time, Wilson was looking deep. And now he has his guy wide open. Rummel again. All that time, the offensive line doing their job, and another big-time play down the field. 30 yards.
Wilson being patient, finding Rummel, and McAtee almost runs into him, and Rummel got lost deep in the secondary. And Jack Rummel continues to dominate this Blue Streak defense.
What a late afternoon for Rummel here in this semifinal. 6 catches, 189 yards, the big touchdown as well. He is having himself an all-time day here in the semifinals.
Rummel came into the season with 549 yards receiving with 6 touchdowns. And this has been the best game all year for Jack Rummel. Just weapons everywhere, but Rummel's a guy who can do a lot of different things in this offense. Very reliable, dependable receiver with big play capabilities. He's had those on display.
This one never got off and running.
Prior to the snap, North Central calls its first time out of the half.
Well, that's
It
about
will
the
be
only
30
thing we've
seconds
seen slow down this Cardinals attack. You know, you wondered if with a 4-score lead that they would just run the football, get out of Dodge,
This will
and
be
you
a
haven't
full
seen
media
that at
timeout.
all. Here in the third quarter, they've continued to throw the football. So don't go anywhere. You're watching D3 semifinal right here on ESPN.
Pandemonium in here.
Unbelievable. This is what makes this sport so amazing.
The college football playoff first round concludes tonight.
Welcome back here on ESPN. The Cardinals in firm command and trying to add to the lead. Wilson finds Skopna and more yards after the catch. That's been a running theme throughout the broadcast today.
By Benedetti.
Another 11 yards.
Skokna, who is the leader of this receiving crew, is a real story of what North Central football is about. Didn't see the field as a freshman, played JV his sophomore year, and then starting junior year started really making jumps, and he's developed into one of the best wide receivers in the entire country.
They send Skopna in motion again. Wilson will need to unload, and he finally does. The sensible play to go out of bounds. You know, only the second time that the Cardinals have been in the red zone so far today.
Yeah, and that would be a misleading stat considering the score, but when you have the ability to score from far away like Brad Spencer's offense does, who needs to get the ball into the red zone?
Well, you could just see just how well coached. Quarterback that time knew Wilson, just throw the ball away, don't make a big mistake, don't do anything to get the Blue Streaks some momentum. Here's a handoff. Sean Allen trying to find the outside. Was able to dodge for a while, but eventually Kenny Grobelsack comes in to make the stop. And a flag late comes onto the field. And this could be a biggie.
See Lamar Thomas doing his best to work the officials a little bit. Let's see
After
what it
the
is.
play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 1. That's his first of the game. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. It is third down.
Well, just got finished talking about how well coached this Cardinals team is. You know, Brad Spencer's not going to be happy with this.
Just a little trip, a little sneaky trip from Sean Allen. That moves them back, but they have the best kicker in Division III football, and Aiden Ellison, the Fred Mitchell Award winner, who is on the sidelines and would love to get a shot to add another field goal to his ledger this year. 13 of 15 on the season for Aiden Ellison, including a 57-yarder.
Yeah, Arkansas State transfer, second team All-American. Wilson flings that one towards the sidelines, and that is a terrific grab by Skopna. Didn't think it was possible.
Looked like one of the Carroll defenders was going to get his hand in the way. Look at the control that Skopna has with his body sliding, arms fully extended, and brings it in. And it's going to make it a more manageable field goal for Aiden Ellison.
After the 16-yard reception, this one will be 28 from the right hash from the Naperville, Illinois native. And a chance to add to the lead. Snap is handled. The hole in the kick is good, stretching that lead to 31 points. So the Blue Streaks do get their stop, but they add to the lead. It's 31. Division III playoffs continue with the championship game January 4th on ESPN, the finale. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. That game will be in Hall of Fame City in Ohio, Canton, Tom Benson Stadium.
Beautiful facility, generally down in Virginia. The last couple of years, it's been in Canton, Ohio, the birthplace of football.
Saw head coach Jeff Behrman looking on. He's just not had a lot of answers, even though his defense has actually been able to provide some stops. But the way things are going for the Blue Streak offense, it's just been very tough sledding for them against North Central today, but they'll get another crack at it. Fair catch into the end zone.
You mentioned earlier John Carroll moving from the OAC to the NCAC, and Coach Behrman told us this week that it has created some challenges because they're playing all new teams. Randolph-Macon in round 1 and Barry last week were new opponents for them, so they couldn't rely on the familiarity of the scheme and the coordinators that they have in the past by playing the same team. So that allowed them to have to really adjust and keep the guys on the team mentally dialed in to learn each and every week, as well as the coaches.
Well, it's just been, such a terrific year in the program, and to have that opportunity to go in to Mount Union,
A gain of 2.
where they have always struggled in program history, pull off just their 4th win against them, and the fact they've been able to get to the semifinals, it has been such an incredible season. The throw, and he's got his man open! Tyron Montgomery! He will take it to the house! 73 yards! The Blue Streaks are on the board!
How long?
Nice play action. Semptenfelter just throws it as far as he can. Montgomery behind the defense. And nobody is catching number 4 when he gets in the open field. Signs of life for the John Carroll Blue Streaks.
Montgomery's 10th catch today here in the semi, now 126 yards receiving. And they did find one answer to this suffocating defense, the athleticism from Tyron Montgomery. Blue Streaks finally on the board. There.
You're looking at Ty Montgomery, John Carroll record holder for single season receptions, receiving yards. Broke John Carroll Hall of Famer John Priestap some of his records. Priestap, an outstanding receiver, and Montgomery has taken it to another level. This is his 7th consecutive game with 8 or more catches. And today he's got 136 yards. The rest of the Blue Streaks have 65 yards. So Ty Montgomery has shown up, as big players do, in the biggest stages.
And that time on the return, not much doing whatsoever. Good coverage unit for John Carroll. And these two have been so instrumental in really getting the Blue Streaks all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah, what a pair these two have been. And you look at those stats. Great connection for these two guys. And Semptenfelder knows when he needs a big play, find Ty Montgomery. Now we'll see if North Central has an answer.
First down run, not much there. Nice stop that time by Benedetti-Wehrli, the sophomore out of Northeast Ohio.
Badley came off the edge of the defense and tracked down the running back. Hard to penetrate this offensive line for North Central.
Well, this time, a nice run up the middle, Donovan McNeil.
McNeil was the freshman of the year last year in the CCIW. He just keeps getting better.
They keep it on the ground. Chris Colson there on the tackle as they go back to McNeil.
Really impressed with Donovan McNeil's running style. You see running behind his pads, staying low. Hard to get a clean shot on him, and then the balance allows him to get extra yardage after contact.
2nd down and 2, they'll stay in the gun. Wilson unloads one off to the right side to McNeil. And Benedetti-Wehrli again is there to make the stop. So now able to get the chains moving. North Central trying to reestablish that controlling offense when they're able to eat up time of possession. And again, slipping into the 2nd level. An impressive carry that time.
You know, Anthony, we talked about the offensive line of North Central off the top of the show, but this is a team that graduated 4 starters from last year, this unit, this offensive line. 2 of those guys were All-Americans, and every single week, Coach Spencer said it's been fun to watch these guys grow as a unit, because every week they continue to get better.
See a couple of carries from Zeb Rashid. Hunter connotes.
And you look at these guys here, the center, Jared Durian, the only returning starter. And you've got the left guard, Brock Nunez, and the right tackle, Cortez Jones. Both those guys were defensive players last year. In fact, Cortez Jones was a preseason All-American defensive lineman this year. And now he won Offensive Lineman of the Year for the in their conference.
Wilson finds Banker. Another sizable gain, 18 yards before stopped by Huffnagel.
Look at the nice job of looking off to the left by Wilson, dropping it down to Banker in the middle of the field. Only his 3rd catch of the season, and only the 3rd catch all season for the tight end group. They don't use the tight ends in the pass game very often, but Banker makes the streaks pay.
Going towards the end zone, adjustment. Did he make the grab? No, the football comes loose, but Jack Rummel was about to make an extraordinary catch. And he is laboring a bit to get up off the field. And again, North Central, they just keep attacking.
Look at the adjustment by Rummel, Huffnagel in coverage. And Rummel just unable to complete the catch as he goes to the ground, but what an effort by Jack Rummel.
Which just shows you, though, when they need to be aggressive, when they want to be aggressive, they will put that ball in the hands of one of their many weapons and give them a shot. Quick bubble to Skokna. Dodges another tackle. And they get another 9.
Skokna is going to take a knee on the sidelines. I didn't see what happened, but Skokna is their go-to receiver. I know Rummel has stepped up today, but here's Skokna, just takes it, little inside move, hesitation to make a player miss. And I don't see anything right there that happens to him.
So, 3rd and 1. And it's a keeper, and he can get to the end zone. Wilson, 15 yards. the touchdown fooled everyone on the Blue Streak defense.
First rushing touchdown, or third rather, rushing touchdown on the season for Garrett Wilson. They don't call his number often, but when they do, Wilson delivers. And North Central answers in the fashion you expect defending national champions to do after John Carroll scored their first touchdown.
Just a dominant drive, 10 plays, 72 yards. You know, you wonder, John Carroll got some stops, and on that drive, they could not find a way to get off the field as this lead balloons 38-7.
They run play action and the entire defense sucks in the middle, but watch Jake Pieper on the outside with a beautiful block that allows Wilson to get the edge and get into the end zone. And again, can't talk enough about this offensive line and the work they did. And you mentioned 10-play drive. That's nothing for North Central. They're known for 17-play drives. They've done it all season.
Wilson's fourth touchdown on the ground this season. They really know how to take advantage once they get the defense playing on their heels. And the one thing we were wondering at half, you know, how aggressive would they be with this lead? And you've seen it. And when you've got a quarterback with those kind of numbers, you can understand the confidence the coaching staff has in the signal call.
He just has a really high football IQ, understands the offense and what is expected of him. You see the efficiency from Wilson, 4 total touchdowns. And Coach Brad Spencer says Wilson thinks like a coach, as if they have another coach in the huddle on the field at all times when Wilson's out there.
So the Cardinals, we've said, as advertised, just a unit all the way around. And you easily understand why they're in the position they're at year after year. That record that I had to double check when you told me earlier in the week, 57-1 under Coach Spencer. It's shockingly good.
Yeah, it's unparalleled at this level.
I tried to get to the outside that time.
Tackled by
Climac looking for space. Janiak was there on the stop.
Linebacker Matt Janiak led the team in tackles in 6 different games this year. Janiak and J.P. Sullivan led him with 5. What about last week? 16 tackles and 1 fumble recovery.
Flushed out of the pocket, throwing on the run, and that time Montgomery can't corral the football as he went up to try and make another athletic grab, and Amari Roby was right there.
Take a look at the pass rush. You're going to see Sullivan push his man. There you go, 92. He pushes him all the way into Semifinal, and now he has to short roll away from that pressure, throwing on the run, and he puts it a little too high for Ty Montgomery. This guy is really something. J.P. Sullivan. Not a big rah-rah guy, but he will take time individually to talk to players and mentor other guys on the defensive line.
Septenfelter steps up, needs to create, and he does, all the way out to the 36-yard line. That was an impressive 9-yard run before Janiak was able to finally make the tackle.
Yeah, Semifinal again, it's just pressure. They run a stunt and a blitz, and he's able to get away from Sullivan and navigate his way to the sticks.
Saw
a gain of 9
Bobby Medina able to get through. And it's just the way that defensive line continues to come after him when you're playing with a lead, which they have virtually all season long. It just makes life very, very hard. Lindstrom gets to the outside and near midfield.
Pass complete to Shane Lindstrom.
So 12 yards, and Blue Streak offense, they've been able to find some bigger plays here in the second half.
First down.
Yeah, they've moved the ball at times. They've been able to get some first downs, but to drive the field against this defense has proven to be a tough task. We talked about North Central's offensive line. John Carroll starting 2 true freshmen. Lost their starting left tackle, Grant Myers, one of their captains, to an injury earlier this year.
They fake the give, has to unload it. He does to Lindstrom, but incomplete. Late hit, though, as the flag is thrown in. J.P. Sullivan was around all of it. And it looks like 2 flags. So we'll go down to the field to sort things out. Our head referee today, Stuart Hinman, talking it over.
It looked like Sullivan hit Septenfelter after he threw the football. That was the first flag.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 92, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 13, that's his first of the game. That 15-yard penalty will also be enforced. It will be 1st and 10 for John Carroll.
All right, so after all of that, it will be a first down for the Blue Streaks, and we'll take a look at what happened.
I think they got him with the push at the end.
After the penalties, 1st and 10 at the 49.
20 seconds to go in the third quarter. Handoff on the inside. And the Blue Streaks now in Cardinal territory. Sullivan with another stop. And that clock will tick down. 3 quarters in the books here in the Division III National Semifinals.
This is the end of the
When we
third
come
quarter
back,
of play.
just 15 minutes separate one of these teams from the Stag Bowl. Things looking good. Start of the fourth quarter here in Naperville, Illinois. North Central doing what they typically do here at home, where they are riding an incredible 45-game home win streak right here. And you certainly understand why when you get a chance to watch them. How in the world did Septenfelter get rid of that football? It's complete to Shane Lindstrom as Medina was barreling in on him.
Bobby Medina comes into today with 10 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and you can see why. Look at the left of your screen. Inside move on the tackle. Looked like a miscommunication on the offensive line for the blocking, and Medina had a clear path to Septenfelter. But eyes on the back of your head, he felt the pressure and got it out to Lindstrom.
Threw that ball a long way for 11 yards.
That's why I always like to throw to the tight end. It's right over the middle. It's the shortest pass. You get the same amount of yards.
Septenfelter stepping up and had a little too much mustard on that ball to Evan Nelson, so it's incomplete.
Yeah, Nelson was about 5 feet away from Septenfelter. He put, as you said, maybe a little bit too much sriracha on that ball. Unable to bring it in was Nelson. And if Nelson was able to bring it in, there was a lot of space to run. You know, we've seen Medina get in the backfield and Sullivan, and what I think is most impressive about North Central defensively is that they can pressure the quarterback with only 4 guys bringing pressure, which allows them to drop 7 into coverage. And that makes it very difficult for a quarterback to find open receivers.
And this one batted away. Matt Janiak read it, got his mitts on it, and was looking for even more. It'll just go as an incompletion.
Take a look at the pressure here. Once again, Sullivan One step and he's already in Semptenfelder's kitchen. And when you're under that much pressure as a quarterback, you start to speed everything up. Because even when the pressure's not there, you're anticipating it. And North Central has been applying the pressure to Semptenfelder all game long.
3rd and 10. Tough spot for the Blue Streaks. Walls caving in, but a very calm delivery short of the sticks, but 9 yards to Shane Lindstrom makes 4th down much, much more manageable.
Really nice job by the Blue Streaks offensive line. They dropped one of the North Central dropped one of their linemen, brought an outside backer. They picked it up, no problem. And Semptenfelder delivered a strike. Coach Bierman's looking at the play sheet, wondering what Travis James is going to dial up here on a very important 4th and 1.
Well, they got up quick to the line. Rolling out. Soft toss, and it's caught. Nemo Jenkins, and with yards after the catch, 10 yards on 4th down and 1.
Linebacker Danny Nuccio was covering and peeled off at the last second. You're going to see number 33. See, he's got Jenkins, and then he stops to address Semptenfelder, and that allowed Jenkins to get open, catch the ball, move the chains.
11th play of this drive. Under the 13-minute mark. Semptenfelder looking back into the end zone. Touchdown! Great job. Kenny Rawls on the score for 18 yards. Some words afterwards with the Blue Streaks. Find the end zone for the 2nd time today.
Nice job by Semptenfelder, looking, finding, waiting for Rawls to come open. Puts it on him. 8th touchdown catch of the season for the big tight end, Kenneth Rawls.
Colin Schuler, the extra point, and so something for John Carroll faithful to get excited about. A couple of scores here in the 2nd half, not giving up on their 2025 playoff hopes just yet.
And there's a look at Kenneth Rawls, who just caught the touchdown pass, but the connection between Nick Semptenfelder and Kenneth Rawls goes much deeper than just on the field. And we'll get into that right after this kickoff, Anthony.
And looks like we will have a return. And a nice crease all the way out to the 35-yard line.
So we got to go back to Battleground Academy in Franklin, Tennessee, where Semptenfelder and Rawls were teammates, but they were much more than that. Junior year, the Semptenfelder family brought Kenneth Rawls in. He lived with them. They consider themselves brothers. And when Rawls went to North Alabama, Semptenfelder went to Bucknell. They both came here. Rawls wanted to play with Semptenfelder one more time. And oddly enough, they live together in University Heights on John Carroll's campus. It's Semptenfelder, it's Kenneth Rawls, and Semptenfelder's sister Gracie, who might be the best athlete in the family.
Yeah, all she did was score 24 points yesterday. Holiday tournament in Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. So a homecoming of sorts for her. They won again today.
Ball's out.
That ball is loose, and the Blue Streaks get the turnover. A rare mistake, and this time Dylan Crassy responsible for 2 turnovers last week. They had 7 as a team, and now they're feeling really good about things here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you're going to see McNeil get the ball punched out from behind, and there it is.
Dylan
Nice
Crassy.
Job defensively.
Ball.
To knock it out, it was Germano who punched it out and Crassy who recovered it.
So John Carroll trying to see some sort of momentum. You gotta love the fact there's been no quit in those guys at all today in the semis, because this was looking very bleak. Little razzle-dazzle, flip to Montgomery, able to get all the way out to a first down and more. What a run.
And he fumbled the ball at the end, and Janiak ends up with the football. Let's see what the officials say. They're gonna huddle up and talk about this, but the ball came out, and Janiak appeared to be in the field of play when he recovered it. Now, we couldn't see from the far side if that ball landed out of bounds,
or where he came from to make the recovery. But again, you see that speed from Montgomery flashing. They finally got him to the outside.
The ruling on the field is the runner was out of bounds prior to losing possession of the ball.
So because of that, Blue Streaks will continue with the football, at least for now.
Well, let's take another look at this, Anthony.
The ruling on the field is now under further review.
And the question is if there was a whistle.
And also looks like Janiak, I don't know if he got the ball when he was in, but look at the feet of Montgomery. Ball's out before his feet step out. So I think now Janiak's out of bounds. So I don't think that's going to be a recovery.
Tough from that vantage point.
Yeah, I believe this is going to be ruled a fumble, yet out of bounds by the time North Central fell on it.
We don't get a crystal clear look, even with all these great camera angles. It's still very tough.
The replay officials next to us up here in the booth, Anthony, are looking this over. And I think the decision is going to be, did Janiak have control of the football before his body touched out of bounds?
And it can't be an assumption. They have to know for sure for them to be able to overrule what that call was on the field. And we had 3 different angles, and I don't know that we got a clear, obvious, like it might be an I think he recovered that ball in bounds, but that's not enough to get a total change in possession and a reversal. But crew here doing an excellent job. Been getting ready for this game all week, so we appreciate all the pictures that they've been providing. We've been hearing from fans from all over the country on social media that we're excited about this game all week, and it's awesome. I was getting texts from Northeast Ohio, the John Carroll contingent that couldn't make the trip. They were watching the game, and you know, here in this part of the country, we've kind of felt all week just how fervent the support is for the defending champs.
You know, the love for North Central football runs deep for anybody who's come through this program. 5 of the 7 full-time assistants played here. And we're going to get the call.
After further review, it's been determined that the runner fumbled the ball prior to being out of bounds. However, there was not a recovery in bounds by the defense. Therefore, by rule, this is a forward fumble out of bounds, which will be brought back to the spot of the fumble, which is the 48-yard line, which is sufficient for a first down. So it will be first down for John Carroll at the 48-yard line.
And the look on Matt Janiak's face, he wasn't necessarily buying it.
Great job to punch that out by Bobby Medina. This is probably the best angle here where you see that he doesn't have possession and his body hits out of bounds. And that was the official ruling from the replay booth.
Handoff, Quincy Newsome down the sidelines. Carroll getting some good effort on that running game. And a pickup of 11.
And it's all coming outside. You know, they have not had much success running in between the tackles. However, they're getting their speed to the outside, and I like the play to Newsome there, where you're catching him on the jet sweep. He gets the football with a full head of steam, and that allows him to get to the edge and beat the defensive end around the corner.
Under the 12-minute mark, Semptimphelter sets up the screen and some room to run. A nice open field tackle after an 8-yard gain, and Braden Garrigan has been everywhere for that Cardinal defense.
He's come up in run support in a big way. You had Michael O'Rourke and Jack McKinnon, the two starting freshmen for John Carroll, getting up to the second level. But Garrigan able to get skinny and bring Nelson down.
Call it 2nd and 3. Montgomery motioning towards the center, and with an arm draped around him, Semptimphelter tried to get that ball off, and who else but big J.P. Sullivan getting in the way.
I'm not sure how he doesn't get a camp invite in the NFL, you know, getting into a camp with an NFL team. Because you're the best defensive player in Division III, and you play the way he does at the defensive line, that translates for me to the next level. And I would be shocked if somebody in the NFL didn't want to take a closer look at J.P. Sullivan.
Well, just considering every team and their approach is to make sure he doesn't wreck the game. Play action out of the backfield, Newsome looking for a block, and he got free for a 5-yard gain to move the sticks. No quit in this Blue Streak offense right now after all the struggles they had earlier on in this football game.
Well, Coach Behrman has a couple quotes that he has. Tough people win, and that deals with mental and emotional toughness to get through tough times and sharpen the axe. He said, if you give us 7 days to cut down a tree, we're going to spend the first 6 sharpening the axe. And that mindset doesn't allow you to give up even when you're down 24 points.
Newsome, there's no room there this time on the outside. Maybe a yard. And J.P. Sullivan all over it again.
I mentioned Janiak led the Cardinals this year in 6 different games with as the leading tackler. J.P. Sullivan led the team in 5 games as the leading tackler from playing at the defensive line. That is...
Don't see a lot of that.
No, it's hard to imagine that. But as you said, every team game plans against a defensive tackle for North Central.
Play action, toss over the middle, a little behind Montgomery. We've seen him make some terrific adjustments today. He wishes he would have had that one.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, a throw behind you is difficult, but when you're running a post, you have to stop your entire body and reach back. Montgomery not able to bring that ball in.
Boy, the top-level talent, and there's a lot of it to go around in this matchup. We've been highlighting Sullivan, Montgomery, and you can see exactly why those guys may have a little more of a chance to continue playing football. 6 of 12 on 3rd down. And this one looks to be short of the sticks.
I think they're going to rule this incomplete, Anthony. We're going to get a good look at it here. But yeah, he does not catch that football. The referee's got a little help from Garrigan. 4th down and down 24. Offense stays on the field for JCU.
But Montgomery leaves the field. Looked a little frustrated after those last 2 plays. You know, he would have loved to come up with those cleanly. So 4th and 9, and now the Cardinal fans getting into it. They do not want to see any more points on the board. Backpedaling, throwing over the middle, and wow, the tacklers all over it. Janiak again, nothing doing on 4th down. It'll be a turnover on downs.
Tried to get it to Rawls on a tight end screen coming across the middle. Janiak was there. Kenny Rutherford coming up from the defensive back position. And you see the guys starting to pull off. There's Rutherford getting in, and Janiak as well.
played it absolutely beautifully. So the drive will stall. And the fans are starting to truly feel it here in Naperville. Nice change of directions. McNeil tries to bounce it to the outside. That's a terrific run for the first down. Give him 12 on the carry.
McNeil certainly got his steps in on that 12-yard gain. Little east and west before getting north. But look at the way he navigates. Great job at the line of scrimmage by the offensive line. And how about Garrett Wilson looking like he wanted to get in on the blocking action for McNeil?
The teammates always appreciate that. And they see that kind of effort when you're up 38-14.
I'm sure the coaches appreciate the effort too, but you don't necessarily want your quarterback downfield blocking people when you're up 24 in the fourth.
Another nice inside carry. Those can be really tough yards up the middle for McNeil.
Nice block by Cortez Jones, number 52.
Well, McNeil on the day, 16 carries, 152 yards, along with a touchdown. And their running attack, we said at the start of the broadcast, outgaining opponents in the run game 4-1. It's as lopsided as you will ever see. There's another carry up the middle with McNeil. Lamar Thomas there to make the stop.
We're going to get a personal foul here on Jared Dury in the center. And I believe he was working on Chris Golson, the linebacker, about 12 yards downfield, and they finish it off with a push after the whistle.
We talked with the coaches
the
this
result
week.
of the play is a first down. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense, number 63. 15-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10.
The coaches talked about not only the type of relationship they had with each other, as you see a little late activity that warranted the flag. I thought it was really interesting when Behrman got the head coaching job at Carroll 2023. One of the first calls he made was to Brad Spencer because he wanted to model their program after another program that has been to the top and sustained that type of success. So these two coaching staffs know each other very well. And a nice flip and a huge gain out past midfield for Grant McAtee. Just another something to look at.
They bring McAtee in motion. They flare out the running back and they give a little shovel pass to McAtee. They're going against the grain. McAtee comes back the other way, and the big fella, 6'5", rumbles downfield.
Another 21 yards. Boy, they can do it in 1,000 different ways.
And they're going to be real patient to get to the line of scrimmage, snap the football, because right now they want to squeeze the last 7 minutes out of this clock while they have the football.
Play action, Wilson. Over the shoulder, Thomas Skokna. Inside the 20. Another 25 yards.
Beautiful flag route by Skokna. Little play action. They put a tight end in the flat, but look at this pass by Wilson. Easy money to Skokna up the sideline.
That is what the kids like to call a dime. And now Garrett Wilson, what a day. We talk so much about the running game. Oh, by the way, he has over 300 yards passing now.
A lot of that has been on big impact, explosive plays through the air, and then you just get back to this ground attack. But, we talked earlier, Anthony, about complementary football, and so often it's about your offense and your defense. But for this North Central offense, it's the running, it's the constant leaning on you, leaning on a defense from the offensive line, given a multitude of running backs to go at it, and then they'll just hit you up top to Skokna or Rummel with a big shot. And it's almost as if they lull the defensive backs into a false sense of security to expect more running. And then you got a guy running right past you, and this guy, Garrett Wilson, can put the ball on the money, extremely accurate at all three levels of passing the football.
After the 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Nice tackle inside. Ben Day. We've called his name out plenty of times so far today. As that clock continues to tick down, like you said, they'll be using up all their allotted time.
These are two really well coached defenses. You've got Dean Paul for John Carroll, who's just come in and done a terrific job with this defense. And across the sideline, Shane Durking just won Coordinator of the Year, 2nd time in 3 years for Shane Durking.
Wilson flushed out of the pocket, and that ball batted down towards the line of scrimmage. Devon Badley got his mitts on it.
And Badley's played a real nice game. And you don't see a lot of incompletions from Garrett Wilson that time, and he had McAtee trying to force it in, and Badley was able to get in the passing lane and knock it down.
The incompletion brings up 4th down.
So 34-yard attempt by Aiden Ellison, one of the best kickers in all of Division III. They'll try to add to the lead. And so clean right down the middle to make it 41-14. North Central starting to feel it here in Naperville. You're watching ESPN. Well, we talked about what a great day it's been for Garrett Wilson, as balanced as this offense can be when they want to be. We've seen it all, and how about now, over 300 yards and a career high for Wilson. He has been sensational.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk that Wilson, along with Skokna, should have been a semifinalist for the Gallardi Trophy Award. And he's putting on a show here. And he's done it with his feet as well, which is equally as impressive as what he's been able to do with his arm, hitting these talented receiving core of the Cardinals. 3-24. And if this lead holds, how about the matchup next week in quarterback play between Wilson and Blaha from River Falls?
Well, they are obviously watching this game as part of their celebration, because they certainly earned it with that thrilling victory. It was a lot of offense on the field in the other semifinal, but you noticed Wilson last week, well, they can win it that way with 80 passing yards. This week, over 300. It's like choose your own adventure. How do you want to win this game? They can do it each and every way possible.
Yeah, generally teams will say, like River Falls, for example, you know, we're going to enjoy this one tomorrow and then we'll get back after it. But I have a feeling the coaches for River Falls might be getting into the tape right now of North Central to start game planning how to stop this guy and his offense.
So they now are up to 529 yards of total offense. Just a machine, week in and week out. It's why they've been number one basically all year in both polls. You know, it's always interesting, a town like this that knows what a championship team looks like, and their fans, you know, they're almost as disciplined as the coaching staff. When I started polling some of them out in the parking lot, how do you feel about this team in comparison to the other teams? And they're like, well, you know, we have this weakness, we have this weakness. I haven't seen any weaknesses so far today.
No, look at this. This is since 2019. 5 straight Stag Bowl appearances. The only loss for Coach Spencer as a head coach was in the Stag Bowl 2 years ago. It's a lot of football these kids have played.
Dump off to Climac out of the backfield. That clock now continues to run. 3:35. Brad Spencer looking on.
We talked to Coach Spencer this week about being 57-1 and what's the secret sauce, and his answer came very quickly that it's the people. He said, you look at any organization, any industry, any corporation, the best ones are the ones with the best people, and he credits his staff and his players for all the success that the Cardinals have had in this recent run.
Nice open field tackle that time by Jamar Daniel after 6-yard pickup. So it is a Blue Streak first down. Under 3 minutes to go. We'll send Montgomery in motion. Inside handoff, a little misdirection that time, and some nice open field running for Cohen. Climac and a late flag as well. So a very nice carry.
Talked about the wrestling background of Climac and how it's helped his balance, and full display it was on here for this run by the freshman.
23 yards, and could it be 15 more?
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 4. 15 yards will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Ethan Groark assessed the face mask penalty, just trying to do anything he could to bring him down. It's actually the 8th penalty for the Cardinals. So we talk about what they can clean up. 89 yards of penalties today, 3 on special teams. Septenfelter over the middle. And the Blue Streaks with another drive. Matt Janiak on the tackle. 5 yards officially will take us down to the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
It's 41-14. The finale coming up. Well, the hardware is one of the first things you notice when you walk around this stadium in the campus of North Central. It has been so impressive what they've been able to do in the playoffs. 17-game home win streak in the postseason when the competition gets ratcheted up.
How about averaging 45 points a game?
Whoa, big hit, dropped. Incredible defensive play. Bobby Medina, his presence felt. Danny Nuccio as well.
Ran into a brick wall. Nuccio was down on the lower half, and then Medina came and cleaned him up.
So 3rd and 6. Quick swing and one missed tackle, but eventually buying time for Matt Janiak to come in and make the stop. So it's 4th down. Blue Streaks trying to get one more score on the board before the end of this semifinal, and North Central does not want to see that at all. Even though the game decided, these teams absolutely playing to the final whistle. Under a minute. 4th and 6. Montgomery in motion, almost hugging the line. And that ball in the end zone, it is caught. Touchdown, Shane Lindstrom. 21 yards. Unfortunately, Septemfelter got the touchdown, but the trainers kneeling down.
On the field is a touchdown. Officials timeout on the field.
And hopefully
for an injured offensive player.
He's going to be okay, but you can see some concerned looks. That just epitomizes what a gutsy effort this has been from him. Now over 300 yards passing. We'll take a look at that touchdown throw and the contact afterwards, just hanging in there as long as he could.
And this is tough when you're a quarterback and you see your man open and he just gets rolled up on the lower half due to the pass rush.
How about taking that hit and still delivering and getting a nice ovation from both sidelines as he is getting help. So 34 of 47 on the day, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have the 1 pick six right before the end of the first half, but he absolutely was able to still, against this defense, as dominant as they are, he still put a bit of a show on.
Yeah, it was a gutsy performance from Septemfelter. But ultimately just too much from North Central's defense. Being able to limit Septemfelter's chances to throw the ball downfield because of the pass rush. That time hung in the pocket, was able to deliver a strike to Lindstrom, and unfortunately had his leg rolled up on. You see head coach Jeff Behrman there talking with his quarterback.
36.4 seconds remaining. Central 41. John Carroll, 21.
So the Blue Streaks, they put a nice drive together to end the game. In the second half, they did not go away. They certainly, epitomized why this program here in yet another playoff berth this year, something to build on, start to really, show their community and the Division III that they're not going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, they have really, Coach Behrman has done a great job of building this program, getting them back into this point. Again, 3rd time in their career history being in the semifinal, but this was an absolute buzzsaw they ran into. North Central, as you mentioned earlier, Anthony, it's really hard to find weaknesses for the Cardinals team.
And for the Cardinals, putting their finishing touches, a little bobble on special teams, on what has been just a remarkable run as they are heading back to the Stag Bowl. Another chance to put even more hardware in their impressive showcase downstairs. Their trophy case was awesome to look at. And did you see any more room for another national championship?
No, but potentially a remodel down there to make the trophy case a little bit wider, not only for this year, but we talk about Carroll coming back into relevance and being a dominant team in Division III to think about. I don't think North Central's going anywhere anytime soon.
And they will be in the victory formation. They'll take the final knee. They're starting to dance and jump around on the sideline, getting a standing ovation because North Central is going back to the championship game, the Stag Bowl, on January 4th, and another chance, a title defense, how hard that is, and the 6th appearance in this game. We called him a machine at the start of the broadcast. It's exactly what we saw today.
Yeah, this team is very difficult to game plan against. All 3 phases, they're very solid. And they're consistent. They do everything right, but they consistently do everything right, and that's really what separates the good from the great teams. And North Central undoubtedly is one of the great teams at any level right now because of the dominance that they've had and this run that they're on.
Well, and just so tough when you've got that target on your back week in and week out. The team's doing everything they can to try to put an end to this run. And you saw it matched up against a great John Carroll team. So impressive what they've been able to accomplish this year. And they go ahead and put 41 points on the board. And this game was really never in doubt in the second half.
And this is what the team is all about. This is the guys who dress going to greet their fellow teammates who were unable to dress for this game, showing that everybody is part of this, not just the guys in uniform, and that's how you build a program.
We're going to go down to the sidelines here in a moment, bring in the victorious coach, Brad Spencer. And Coach, you did it again. What an impressive effort today. What stood out to you as you guys are going back to the Stag Bowl, another opportunity for a championship?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Really proud of this team. I mean, we really pride ourselves on playing 3-unit football, and you saw a little bit of that today. A huge play going into the half by Eli, and the guys just stuck with it. We really want to, just play hard for 4 quarters. John Carroll's a great team. I respect Coach Bierman and their entire staff a lot. They had a heck of a season, but just really proud of our guys. Thankful that the Lord has blessed us to put us back in this situation again, and to try and glorify Him one more time.
Coach Spencer, Ryan Cavanaugh here. This is your 6th straight time making it to this game. What makes the 2025 version of North Central Cardinal football unique?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Every year the senior class is unique. None of them are the same. They all find their own ways to win and persevere, and really proud of this group and all the ways that they've been pushing the needle and fighting complacency and just continuing to battle and come together as a unit. I mean, we had a lot of new starters on offense, and Coach Studeman, that offensive group, has done a great job of molding and just advancing the entire season, and then our defense has just been the solid point all year long.
Well, we're looking at you up here in the booth, and we know somebody's going to be looking down after what was an emotional week, and having you guys deal with that unfortunate tragedy, and to see how much the Thorne family meant to this program, for sure he is looking down and loving every minute of what you guys have been able to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I told you before the game, it wouldn't surprise me if I saw John Thorne, and I did. He was in halftime. I saw him, and I know Jeff would be really proud of the foundation that him and John have laid for us, and we continue to dig that well deeper and benefit from all the wonderful things that they've done for us.
Well, Brad Spencer, terrific job. Good luck in the Stag Bowl. We'll be watching, and your fans are absolutely loving life right now. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, so are we.
All right, there it is, 41-21, adding to that impressive resume, their 46th straight home win, 18th straight home playoff win, a dominating offense all the way around, Ryan.
528 yards of total offense, career day for Wilson, career day for Rummel, and we haven't even mentioned the defense. This is a very complete team, and I can't wait to see how they perform in Canton for the Stag Bowl on January 4th.
And John Carroll, obviously, plenty to be thrilled about this year for what they were able to accomplish, but only one could move on, and the Cardinals are doing just that. So it sets up Stag Bowl, January 4th. Of course, you'll be able to watch that on ESPN. Could it be a shootout? North Central and Wisconsin River Falls. What an incredible matchup.
Yeah, fireworks, 2 of the best quarterbacks in all of Division III. You got Blaha, you got Wilson. And, don't get up from your couch in that one, because I expect a high-scoring affair.
All right, for Ryan Cavanaugh, I'm Anthony Lima. What a sensational semifinal. Truly did live up to the billing. We saw the explosive plays, but we saw utter dominance all the way around for North Central as they pull it off. They're heading back to the Division III championship game. 41-21. This has been a presentation of ESPN. So long. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.